Hey guys, Dash here, and welcome to another episode of Underrated Loadouts, where I choose a weapon configuration which I feel is overlooked and underused, strip it down, and tell you why I think it deserves more praise. So, I'm running with the KH-2002 Assault Rifle on the Medic class, with Cobra Red Dot, Heavy Barrel, and Bipod because why not. Also, the Rex as a sidearm because I think it's undoubtedly the best sidearm you can roll with in this game. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the bad points straight away here. So, with the KH-2002, to begin with, when you unlock it for the first time, you're not going to have anything. The iron sights do suck a bit. But it's only 50 kills until you get a Cobra, so maybe 2 games of Team Deathmatch, unless it's 1 game with massive ticket count, and you should be good. This gun is also the second co-op mission unlock, so to unlock this gun for multiplayer, you do need to play the co-op missions, unfortunately. I think you need 125,000 points, which I don't think is too much, but then again, it's still a hassle because no one has really enjoyed the co-op over multiplayer. But if you haven't played it, I think you should give it a go and see what it has to offer. And it is burst fire and single shot only. There's no automatic fire, so in certain situations this can be a bad thing, and I'll get into that a little bit later. It's also a bullpup, which means that it's generally got higher spread than a standard rifle and a longer reload. So now getting on to the good points, the burst fire can also work in its favour, giving a tighter spread of 0.2 degrees while standing still and 1 whilst moving. The bullpup design generally means that it has better hip fire accuracy for close quarters, and you can move faster while aiming down sights, allowing you to be harder to hit with the cost of a little bit of precision. The fire rate is also at 800 rounds per minute, which is fast, same as the M16, so it's a bit of a contender there. This weapon is actually supposed to be sort of a bullpup version of the M16, so you know it can contend with the dreaded, the omnipotent M16A3, albeit burst fire only. The bullet velocity is really high at 650 meters per second, which is second only to the AUG A3 in the Medic class, which has only 20 meters per second faster, so realistically there's not much difference there. It has immensely controllable recoil. After using other weapons like the F2000, this thing has almost nothing. It pulls 0.4 in both directions, which sounds a little high, but it only has 0.2 up. And when you get in game and actually use it, you'll find that the recoil isn't actually that bad at all. The problem with burst fire is that the first shot multiplier affects you a lot more. So the first shot multiplier means that the first shot that you fire has more recoil than the rest. The thing with this rifle is that the first shot multiplier is low at 1.5 times, whereas something like the M16 is 2.5. So there's a lot less recoil on your first bullet. But still, with burst fire, every time you pull the trigger, every time you fire a burst, it's going to affect the first bullet. But as I said, it is low and it is controllable, and the general recoil of this weapon isn't very high. So once you get used to it, once you get used to the fire rate, once you get used to burst fire as a whole, then the gun is really easy to control and can be really damaging with that fire rate and accuracy. And you can virtually get it going automatic. For a weapon like this, it has really quite harsh strengths and weaknesses, and you really need to play to its strengths. The Cobra gives really great vision whilst aiming down sights with a low aiming down sights time compared to scopes. The aiming down sights time that I'm referring to is how long it takes for you to get the weapon from your hip into your shoulder ready to fire. So of course in close quarter situations and situations where someone else might be starting shooting you first, then that's going to really help you out. The Cobra is also the sight which has the 3 lines instead of the 1 dot, which helps when aiming because you can actually see what you're aiming at rather than a red dot which puts a dot over the top of what you're aiming at. Some people prefer the RDS and some people prefer the Cobra. I use the Cobra on higher fire rate weapons because when you've got a high fire rate, your gun's more likely to jump around a little more with the recoil, and so it gives a little bit more visibility, which can really help you. But for weapons with a slower fire rate, I would definitely go with an RDS because you get extra precision, and that's what their strength is. And as I said before, you do need to play to strengths in this game. So I've got the heavy barrel on this weapon, which is really helpful for increasing the aiming down sight's accuracy and maintaining damage over range. which makes any weapon a really good platform for long-range engagements. The heavy barrel also increases vertical recoil just a little bit, but the base recoil with this gun is actually quite low, so it's not going to affect it that much, and the trade-off is going to be worth it. You'll notice I haven't got a foregrip, I've actually got a bipod. The reason for this is that a foregrip will reduce the high horizontal recoil for this weapon, but it also decreases your ADS accuracy. And seeing as though this is a weapon of strength, and this is where we're going for, this is what we're going for with this weapon, we don't really want to be counterproductive. You can spend all day looking all over Google for whether you should use the heavy barrel and foregrip on every gun that you can do. But it's down to preference, it really is. Some people swear by it, some people say don't use the foregrip, it breaks the gun. There are some guns that this is the case, like an AN-94. If you use a foregrip on that, then you're sort of destroying the element of what that gun is good at. And I think that's what you're going to be doing with the KH-2002, so I recommend that you don't use one, but if you feel that you're going to be better with it, then of course go for it and try it out. I use a bipod because I don't think you can have an underslung rail on this because it is a bullpup, and I think the only bullpup that you can have a mounted grenade launcher on is the AUG, the AUG A3. So I just go with the bipod because why not? It looks really cool on that gun, and I think this gun looks awesome. And I've definitely had a lot of fun using it. So with having said that, the best way to use this is to stay back and pick off targets at medium to long ranges. Close quarters, it can be a total beast, but it needs some practice to get to grips with, and it needs sort of an experienced player to do it. I find that burst fire is a really great way to learn how to prioritise targets, because burst allows you to conserve ammo in some situations because you can't mag dump like you can with a fully auto. Say for instance when 4 guys run round a corner or something, with a fully auto you might just spray everywhere, but you may have totally missed because you panic and you shoot in between all of the guys somehow, and you don't end up taking any of them out. But with a burst fire you can pace yourself and you can fire 2 bursts at each one individually, and really prioritise which is the biggest threat and who to take out first. But that's just my opinion, and I may be doing a video on that in the future. And lastly, I really enjoy playing with this beast, and you can probably tell by me going 40 to 1 at the end there. But thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you on the battlefield.